Takže ahoj, tu je Roman, Scandinavian Study a máme tu už v poradí 9. webinár so školami z Dánska, aby ste mali nejaké konkrétnejšie informácie o vašich študijných možnostiach, o to, čo sa práve teraz deje v Dánsku a aby ste boli informovaní nielen od nás, ale aj zo škôl. We will conduct this interview in English, which is much better, so we make sure, yes, so we will make sure everyone understands what we're talking about. And my today's guest is Sandra Ivan. Sandra, hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Yes, Sandra. And actually, it's nice that finally we can see each other through Zoom. And we live in unfortunate times, or this is unfortunate situation, and I'm trying to put maximum information directly from representative of school to students, because I can say it's fantastic in Denmark, it's beautiful, it's good education, but it's much better to share information directly from person who is at school. You are representing school which is called DANIA Business Academy.
Yes.
So tell me your personal story. You are a student there or you are working there?
Yeah, my name is Sandra Ivan. I'm coming from Romania. 3 years ago, I decided to move to Denmark and I started everything from zero. I studied marketing management and I got my internship in DANIA Academy. I got a job offer. I accepted. I also applied for the top-up. I applied to continue my studies in international hospitality management. And right now I'm talking to you also like as a representative, but also like as a student, because I know that there might be many concerns right now in this with this situation. Yeah.
And it's good that we're doing it because we can have updated information. So I believe most of students who are watching this are interested directly in DANIA. Some maybe applied for other schools also, but let's introduce city first and then your school. Let's speak a bit more about Ranas or Randers, but it's in Danish, it's called Ranas.
Yeah, it's Randers. Randers, it's the 6th largest city in Denmark. It has like 100,000 inhabitants. It's known for its main attraction, which is a tropical forest. It's a huge forest where you can see all the animals going free. You can feed them, and it's so nice to get lost over there. And also, it's the only city from Europe that has Elvis Museum, which is quite wow. You can go and visit and see a huge collection and CDs and costumes and wigs and so many things. Yeah, if you're an Elvis fan, you cannot miss it.
All right. I presume you flew directly to Copenhagen. So how easy is to access?
I went to Billund. For me, it was more easier to fly to Billund, and from there I took the bus and the train.
Which is how far it is from Billund to Ranas?
I think maximum 2 hours, something like that. 2 hours and a half, let's say. Depends how you get the bus or the train.
Excellent.
But it's very fast.
Sandra, let's speak about...
From Copenhagen...
Yeah?
Sorry.
No, speak.
From Copenhagen, you have to take the train. Yeah, my internet is not that good. This is my only concern right now. From Copenhagen, you need to take a direct train, which might take between 4 and 5 hours, depends on the type of the train you're taking.
Okay, Alex, let's introduce a bit more your school, DANIA Business Academy. I believe you have stated it in your sign or name. It's focused mainly on technologies and business.
Yes. DANIA Academy is one of the 9 academies from Denmark. What the difference between an academy and the university is the fact that an academy focuses more on the practical part. So everything you're studying, you really learn how to apply it in real life. We have, DANIA Academy has 8 campuses, and from these, 2 of them are internationals. We have international campus in Viborg and in Randers. we teach for 5,000 students, full-time and part-time. We have 25 study programs in Danish, 5 study programs in English, and I think there are more than 1,000, I'm pretty sure there are more than 1,000 professional courses.
Mm-hmm. And so, foreign students, they will be not sitting with Danes in a class, and the classes and lectures will be conducted in English. They will be sitting in international classes.
If they're internationals and they apply for English top programs, everything will be taught in English. But they can also have Danish classmates. I have Danes in my classroom who wanted to learn in English to get better skills in English, so they applied for these classes. It's possible.
Sandra, what I know, DANIA built up a new campus. Is it correct? You have new facilities, I think so 1 or 2 years ago, you built up a completely new hall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Viborg, it's, and runners both, they are totally equipped, they're brand new, you have everything what you need over there. In Viborg, for example, in campus Viborg, students, they have their own kitchen, they can go, they can prepare their food, they have a music hall, they have a sports hall, we have canteen where you can go, you can eat warm food. My internet connection is unstable.
No
Do you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Okay. They have study rooms where they can gather with their colleagues and study. We're all set up. Everything prepared.
You mentioned that currently you are on internship, which is part of your education, to gain more practical skills, right?
I had my internship last year in between January and March. Now I'm studying international hospitality management. I'll have again my internship soon this summer. But during the internship, you just go and work for a company and you put in practice all the knowledge you gain with 2 years of studies before. So it's just like volunteering for a company. But you also learn new skills. You might learn new skills. You might learn new things that probably we cannot teach you in classroom. Just working with a boss, or in a team, in a company, you see the things totally different than working in a classroom with your classmates. You see what a Danish employer wants, or maybe you don't want to do their internship in Denmark, you want to do it in your home country. You see what the employer wants, how is the organizational culture. You learn a lot of things that you cannot learn otherwise.
This is the big difference between education in your country or Slovakia or Czech Republic, that as a part of education, you go in on internship. And it's a learning process, and instead of just sitting in the classes, you have to try also the real life environment according to industry which you choose. So if someone is studying hospitality, goes to work for hotel chains, someone who is studying marketing management should seek his or her internship placement according to their study subject. Another big difference, Sandra, between, for example, Slovakia, Czech Republic, or Denmark, is the teaching methods. In Slovakia, we have something called subject learning. You just learning about the subject. You're learning about economics. So you have to learn what is inflation, deflation, what is market. But in Denmark, you work with something which is very special and unique in a way, which is called problem-based learning.
Yes.
What's your perception? What students get?
This is why I applied to Denmark, to education in Denmark, and this is why I applied for this academy, because they focus a lot on the practice part. You, as a student, you work with the other colleagues in study groups, and everyone is coming and is sharing their own knowledge, their own point of view. You work for real companies, You study real life cases. Everything it's based on present times. We can go all to do company visits. We go on study trips. We do field research. For example, in the beginning of this semester, my class had to work with runners municipality. In my first year of marketing, I worked for a company who was producing socks, and they wanted to launch a sweater, so we had to make a marketing campaign for that. So you work for companies to help them solve their real life problems. You go, as I said, you go on study trips, so you can go on internship. There are some international opportunities where you can go. You can go in summer school in Vietnam or in Canada, in Toronto. You can go one semester in Erasmus. There are many ways that DANIA is making a difference between itself and other academies or other school universities in Denmark.
Sandra, as you mentioned before, you are from Romania.
Yeah.
And also, I believe in Slovakia, Romania, Hungary, Czech Republic, the role of teacher is a bit different than in Denmark. Usually, teacher back in Slovakia is on top of the scale. He's, I don't know, like pharaoh or like king, and the structure is quite horizontal, vertical. And in Denmark, it's quite horizontal.
Yes.
What is your impression? How the teachers are teaching actually in Denmark?
The teachers are very friendly. They respect you. They don't call you they call you by your name. You're not someone random. They know facts about you. They know from where you're coming, a bit of your history. They are teaching very differently, maybe because you feel them so open and you can ask them so many questions. You see that they're more equal to you than like how we can see in our countries. In my home country, we weren't allowed to ask many times, I cannot understand, can you explain me one more time? What do you mean with that? There are some things that we weren't allowed to do. And here it's totally different. Here we're learning in small classrooms, like 25, maximum 30 students. So everyone is becoming a family. And the teacher is our mentor, could become our mentor.
So you are actually encouraged to ask the questions and not just sit there and passively just listen what your teacher is trying to explain, but you take an active place in a class.
Everything what is happening, all the teaching style here, it's based on active learning pretty much, and students are encouraged to talk and to debate subjects, because when you're doing that, you're already learning that subject, and it's going to be more easy for you to apply it when you're having an internship or when you're working in a company. You're already learning the methods and how to apply them since you're in the classroom.
I would like to speak to students. Guys, if you have any questions, just type it in. There is a chat and we can answer your questions and everyone can have an answer. And you have me, and of course you have Sandra, and who is living right now in Ranas or Denmark. So you can have updated information. Just type it in and we can answer one by one those questions. Sandra, we both are foreigners. We are not from Denmark. And when I was in Denmark, I had to also adjust to the fact that I'm getting my knowledge or education in English. What was your beginnings with English or at school? Like, was it too academic, or did you have any problems with English? Because not so many people were in an environment where they get in lectures in English for a long period of time. Maybe someone was for 1 week in Malta for English class, or maybe they went for some exchange for 2 weeks, but you will be surrounded with English. And from beginning, for some people might be kind of, I don't know, uncomfortable or weird.
For me, it was totally different because I never studied something in English. We just had our English classes during high school, and that was it. And yeah, I never had a friend on the internet to talk with in English. So for me, it was a huge change to come and to be surrounded only by people who are speaking Danish or English. Here, you don't have to worry about the Danish language. More than 85-90% of the population is speaking English. But when you're coming and you're traveling abroad and studying English, you get your language skills much better. Your communication skills are changing, and you're improving yourself as a person, which is a huge thing that I think probably that I would not have get it if I was going to study in my home country. It forces you, but in a really good way, to open and to change yourself. You get new friends from different nationalities. Here the networking is very important, and you start to see it only when you're a student. You make friends from different countries, you can go to parties, you can study together, you can cook together if you're staying in the dorms. You're getting self-independent, you manage yourself, you're changing, you're evolving.
So basically it's about practice. More you speak in English, it can be just better. Yeah. And actually, I'm surprised I can speak English because I'm not using English on daily basis.
You're very good.
Also, not English, but as you said, it's difficult for people who never been abroad just to go abroad and to live on your own. Did you have previous experience with living on your own for such a long period of time, or Denmark was your first experience?
For me, it was a bit different time. I was 30 years old when I left my country. I wasn't a baby. I had some work experience. I was a bit gone through all these steps. But from what I talk with my friends who were just finished high school and came here, they didn't feel that it's very hard, because they also had, when you're studying here, this is one of the best parts, you have enough time for self-study, but also to work a few hours per week. So you can also focus on yourself, not only on the studies.
And basically you are responsible for yourself. And yes. I'm saying to students, from day one, when you go abroad or to Denmark or United Kingdom, you will have to sort problems with your work, your accommodation, your daily routine, your daily schedule. And the level of maturity will go immediately up. You have to look after yourself. There will be no one, and it will be only you who can make your life as you want. So no one to blame. Pretty much no one will be there to help you too much. It will be completely up to you. Sandra, we have questions, and let's take one from Tomáš. What's the difference between university, college, and academy? I think so. He meant between university and academy.
An academy, it's focusing more on the practical side of the studies. The teachers teach the theory, but after that, you as a student learn how to apply it, how to apply all the methods, all the tools you're provided during classrooms. You're going in study trips, in company visits. You learn how to get insights. You learn everything, what you need for when you're going to work in a company.
And I will leave from my point of view or my personal experience, university, it's academic. You reading about the topic, about the subject, you go into exams. Those academies, they are focused on people who wants to maybe own their own business or to start with some startup or enterprise. And for example, I was studying in Aalborg, and as a part of our education, there was assignment to find a new product that we can bring to the market. And in group of 4 or 5 people, we have to decide what it will be. So slowly we've been doing discussion, and we found out that in Denmark, everyone is cycling. So maybe this is good market to bring some new product there. And we have to do our field research. We have to go out and speak to general public, to shop owners, to bicycle companies, to prepare survey, to validate the answers. And we came out with a product, which I really cannot remember right now, but this was kind of like in real life. And this is a good quality about academies. You working with the real environment. Your teachers are from real environment. Usually they own the business before. And universities, if you rely on academic university and on reading a lot of books, it's a good option for you. But if you want to own your own business and be responsible for yourself, I think so. Academy is fantastic opportunity.
Yes.
And I would never start a company without me being at academy. No one in my family owns any business, but seeing all the students thinking about starting their own business, creating a startup, this was the changing point in my thoughts.
Yes. Also the fact that when you're going to company visit, you can talk with the people working over there, and you can ask them how they started, how hard it was for them, and you get different insights. In the beginning of in September, we went on a study trip. We went to Ireland for 1 week, and we visited a lot of hotels and travel agencies and all the companies that make sense which are relevant for our industry. So when you're going and traveling and doing this kind of activities, you see things totally different than just staying in the classroom, like it's happening in most places, and just see a PowerPoint or a video on YouTube and that's it. You don't take that you don't have that connection, real life connection with them.
Sandra, another question was, when you are on an internship in a company, do they see you equally as other workers, or is a student on an internship seen as the number one? What he means by this question, Alex, thank you very much, is what's your position as an intern in company? If you are just like some student doing something, or if you have some real competencies?
When you're getting in a company as an intern, you get a supervisor who is going to teach you everything about that organizational culture and their methods to do things. You're not someone. You're equal to any other employer over there. This is the beautiful fact of having an internship in Denmark and pretty sure all over. So no, everyone has to be equal, and everyone will gain. As an intern, you're gonna get the same skills like any other employer from that company.
Sandra, let's move on. And I think so. You wanted to speak a bit more about accommodation. This is
yes,
very important for plenty of people to find accommodation. So where to look, when, how much it costs, what are the living costs, how you found accommodation first time?
Can I share?
Yes, please do.
I would like to share with you our webpage that we created for the accommodation.
Excellent.
For both our campuses, we have accommodation. Most of our students are living in the dormitories. If you apply in VBOR, the accommodation is guaranteed. During the Skype interview, you're going to be asked, and if you say that you want to stay in the dormitories, it's perfect. The dormitories are brand new. You can see here some pictures. The campus, it's pretty close to the dormitories, like you just literally cross the street and you got to school. You cannot say that you've been late because your bus was late or something like that. The prices started from 400 euros up to 500, I think. Here you can just click and you just go on their website, and you can check also the prices. In runners, there's another dormitory. This one, it's a bit further from the campus. It's like 8 kilometers away, but it's there are direct buses and you don't have to worry about that. The prices are starting from 300 euros for this one.
All right.
And you can share. You want 1 room, 2 rooms, 1 room and a half. There are different types of room.
And
For
the price,
this one, you have to apply.
and the price basically is if you are living on your own, it's much higher. When you share accommodation, you can split the cost, right?
Yes. Per month, the expenses can get somewhere between 600, 800 euros, including the accommodation.
All right. Which I believe you survived. So
I survived, and I survived very well.
All right. Excellent. Another part of being in Denmark is cycling. Yeah, we've been talking about cycling. Do you cycle?
No, I'm very lazy.
All right.
No, because no, I just take the bus. I prefer to take the bus. But I cycled when I lived in another city, and I was more close to the university. When I moved here, I have to move with everything, and I just prefer to sell my bike. So no, now I'm just taking the bus.
All right, but 99% of people in Denmark are using bicycle, and all of you guys will be cycling. I was cycling, I think so, 6 kilometers to school and from, but at some point after month you will get used, and it's actually just regular way how to do things in Denmark.
It's very healthy, and here you'll see Danes just taking a bike and taking a walk down to the river or to the seaside or wherever. It's on their a part of their daily life.
Sandra, we have another question which is in Slovak, but I will read it for you. Hello, I would be interested how looks ordinary day at school. What time you start, how long are classes, until when you have your daily lectures, how many days a week you go to school, when you have your exams. Let's speak about the daily schedule.
I will tell you about my daily schedule. We start classes at 8:30. Sometimes we have classes until 12 or 2 o'clock. If we have classes more than 4 hours, we have 45 minutes a lunch break, always. We usually I think that we have around 30-35 hours of school per week. So it means that you have 1 or 2 days free per week. During the exam, for the exams, there are 3 types of exams that we can have here. We can have oral exams, we can have written exams, or we can have individual exams or with our study groups. And there also could be exams with the teachers from the inside the academy or external, how they're called, with a person from who's working in the industry and knows all the problems and how to use the methods, and we are teaching and how to apply them. One class, it's like 50 minutes, 45, 50 minutes.
Sandra, this is a good point what you said, that you have external teachers. I remember when I was studying, there came to our lectures and he was present for a few actually days with us. He was working for government and they were selling the weapons from Denmark to Africa, I think so. So he was businessman from the army industry. And then we have GM, general manager, I'm not sure if from Hyatt, which is the hotel brand, or Hilton, and he gave us completely different view on topic as a teacher. And we've been just listening what he's saying really quietly and just trying to get as much information from him. And there was another guy, he came from Israel and he was teaching us about business and between Israel and USA. So it was interesting. You don't have only academics who are at school for the last 20 years, but you have like fresh people from the industry who come in there to speak.
Yeah. And this is one of the most beautiful things. You learn about things that are happening now, not like 100 years when Henry Ford launched his cars.
Yes. Sandra, there is another question from Tomáš. Is it possible to apply for Bolikstote support when living in student accommodation?
I think that I never applied. I think that it's that help from the government.
Yeah.
Bolikstote.
Yes.
As I know, you cannot apply if you're living in the dormitories.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot apply into my dormitory where I'm living because it's a state building.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a private building, what are the rules, but I know that if you're going for a private and you're living in a private house, yes, you can apply.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, the help could be between 300 or 400 euros. This is what I heard. I never applied. I don't know for sure about it.
Tomáš, when I was living in Denmark, first 2 years I was living in dormitory and I paid around 200 or 250, which was cheap, considering prices in Denmark, because I was earning 12 euros per hour. And I didn't apply for Bolikstote. It's plenty of those welfare supports in Denmark. One of it is this one, Bolikstote. Bolik means accommodation. Mm-hmm. But when I moved out from dormitory and I was living in a studio flat, I applied and they basically calculate the square meters you have there, your monthly bills and your monthly salary, your income. And if you apply for it, they will support you with a particular amount of money. And in my case, I think so it was 70 euros off from my rent when I was living in privately owned accommodation. But those are really like things which are applying for each city, maybe differently, and maybe you will see on the spot. There is plenty of support for people. Denmark is quite supportive society, but the reason number one where you go there is to study. But you can benefit from all those actually benefits. But I think so it was, Sandra, around 70 euros, but it was in private accommodation. Another question, can I cover my monthly expenses with SU? Will I be financially independent from my parents?
Yes, because the SU would be somewhere between, it's 800 euros before taxes. You also gain a salary for what you're working, so you'll have enough to pay the rent, to pay the monthly other expenses, and you can still also put some money aside for darker days, as we say.
Yes, and SU, just to translate, is scholarship or stipendium, we say. And same as the Danish students, also foreigners, they have access to scholarships. You have to fulfill two conditions. You have to be daily students, which you will be, and you have to work for, I think so, 42 hours a month.
Yeah, 45 hours per month.
And then you will be receiving your salary plus your SU, and it will give you plenty of money in comparison with Slovakia as a student, plenty.
And Romania.
But the main reason why you go in there is to study, and after your school you will gain real money. This is just student support, which is fantastic from Denmark. But the real money are after your education. One more question. If I'm working, will I get feriepenge? And what it is in more detail. Feriepenge, holiday money in translation.
Yes. From what I know, the rules are going to change from August this year. But until now, when you are working, a part of a certain percent from your salary was stopped for the feriepenge, and you could get one time per year all the money just to go in a holiday wherever you wanted. So they're just saving your money for when you want to go to a holiday. Now the rules are going to change, and I don't know how what the changes will be, unfortunately.
In just to add on this information which you said, when you earn in money, a state is deducting small amount which is called feriepenge, which means ferie is holiday and penge is money in Danish. But you don't have to spend it on your holiday. It is just called holiday money.
Yeah.
And you are receiving it back once a year, and you can on your own choose what to do with those money. And government can pay it all to your account, or you can use it on later on. It's like tax system, which is quite complicated and detailed, but as a general information, this is how works feriepenge. Sandra, here is a question from Matusz and his iPhone. Which jobs are best to apply for, especially with almost non-Danish skills?
When I came here, I had no Danish skills. So I went and I worked in warehouses. I had colleagues who worked in cleaning, restaurants, pubs. There are many job opportunities, even if you know any Danish language. But there are also some agencies there for temporary workers. You can also go there and you can register and they can help you find the job.
And usually it's unskilled, right? Unskilled
Yes.
jobs with no qualifications, but it's same like you would do student jobs in any other city or any other country. So it's cleaning bars, hotels, warehouses. And
Yeah.
I know people who are driving motorbikes and delivering newspapers in the morning or at night. It depends what you want to do. It depends what you can do. And when you will seek for the job, you will find something. Sandra, another question. What's the deposit for Danish language classes?
I don't know, to be honest. I think it's 2,000 krona.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not sure. But this is only the deposit. The classes, that they don't cost anything. They are free from DANIA Academy.
And maybe just to add, this deposit in euros is around 70 or 65, 68 euros. And basically, the whole Danish classes for 3 years are for free, which is fantastic from the government. But as a precaution, they created this small fee because students at the beginning of the classes, they signed up, but they didn't follow on classes. So just to be sure, if you want to go there and when you pay upfront some money, you prove that you really want to stick with the classes and you will not change your decision later on.
And the Danish classes are scheduled like in 6 modules. So if you want to just drop after the second module, you just tell them and you get your deposit back. So they shouldn't be free. They can get the deposit back.
Maybe Sandra, you could bring your Instagram or Facebook account, and maybe you can share it with us on the screen, because this is when you follow them on Instagram or on your social medias. This is fantastic. It's a good way how to get proper updated information directly from the schools. So this is
yeah. Can I also put the links over there to be more easy to find them?
So this is your Facebook and Instagram?
Yes. And or Instagram.
Where they can see the pictures from the campuses, from the city.
Campuses, the videos, Insta stories, where they can get insights from what's happening all the time in our campuses.
Sandra, maybe, I think so we covered plenty. And guys, if you want, just ask. We will be slowly finishing. But I would like to, I'm interested in your personal story, Sandra. How are the Danes? It's completely different. You are from Romania. I'm from Slovakia. It's completely different nationality or society. what are the things you noticed when you came? What were different in their behavior or daily culture or habits?
It's totally different. I was very surprised to see that everyone is talking English. I met people of my grandparents' age who were speaking perfectly English. Everyone is smiling. Everyone is saying hi on streets. Everyone is very positive and relaxed. Nobody's stressing. Nobody's in a hurry. It's very easy for them to talk with you on the street, to do some small talk. I don't have any Danish friends, but I know many people who are having a lot of Dane friends.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I didn't met those friendly Danes.
Okay.
No, I'm staying more with internationals, and probably this is why I don't get to Danes. But the Danes are quite open, from what I've seen.
And maybe if you want to meet Danish people or friends, to make new friends, go and sign up for sports or some societies. This is the easiest way, because in Denmark everyone likes to sport, to jog, to run. They are very active.
Yes.
Yes,
social.
Sandra, my last question is on current situation in Denmark. We have information only from the news. What is the situation in Denmark?
Actually, it's a very positive attitude here. The government was expecting a higher number, so because we did great, they started to plan reopening in phases. Right now we have schools. We have kindergartens and schools until the 5th class open. Driving schools are open, hairdressers opened, all kinds of stores open. So we are going for a gradually reopening of Denmark. Everyone is calm down, is chill. It's a very positive attitude. The government even encourages us to go out a bit and do some exercises every day to get some sun. And funny, now when it was the lockdown, we had such a great weather. Just so sunny and beautiful.
Excellent, Sandra. Thank you very much. If we don't have any other questions, guys, you can write me directly or contact DANIA or Sandra. And thank you, Sandra. I think it was your first Zoom webinar. You managed very well.
I was very excited.
Yeah, and thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, and hope to see you in September in Denmark.
Have a great day.
Thank you very much. Bye, and thank you for watching, guys. Stay positive, and I see you in Denmark in September.